What if I told you she still thinks about you every single day, but you will never see her name light up your phone again? She is watching you, checking your stories, reading your old messages, remembering the way you made her feel. But she stays silent. She stays hidden. And if you don't understand why, you will stay stuck in confusion, in pain, in a waiting game you can never win. Today, I'm going to give you a complete understanding of why she disappears, why she watches, and how you can flip the entire game without saying a single word. If you listen until the end, you will never look at her or yourself the same way again. You deserve the truth. You deserve to reclaim your power. You deserve to stop suffering in silence. And that starts right now. My goal is to make this channel a weapon for men who are tired of chasing, tired of doubting themselves, tired of living in confusion. If you believe knowledge can change your life, if you want to help spread this power to every man who needs it, then support this channel by subscribing, liking, and commenting. You make sure this message reaches the ones who need it most. Together, we can build a generation of unstoppable men who don't chase, they lead. Let's begin. 1. The silent battlefield. Every time she sits alone with her thoughts, a war begins inside her. You may think she has forgotten you. You may think she no longer cares. But behind the photos she posts, behind the laughter you see, there's a hidden conflict you will never witness. One side of her heart pulls her towards you, with the weight of every memory she tries to bury. She remembers the way you made her laugh without even trying. She remembers the late-night conversations where she felt understood, seen, and valued in ways few men ever made her feel. She misses the comfort of knowing someone cared for her beyond the surface. The way her heart would beat faster seeing your name flash on her screen. The way her world felt safer when you were in it. That longing does not just vanish. It lingers, like smoke after a fire. Every day, even if for a moment, she thinks about you. She scrolls through old photos. She rereads past conversations. She wonders where you are, who you are with, and if you ever think of her too. But on the other side of her mind, standing strong, is fear. Fear that if she reaches out, you will not respond the way she hopes. Fear that if she shows even a small sign of vulnerability, she will lose her pride. Fear that you have already moved on, found someone better, grown beyond her. That fear freezes her. It ties her fingers before they can type a message. It drowns her impulses before they can break through. It's not indifference that keeps her silent. It's self-protection. And it is not just fear that paralyzes her. Pride builds a wall between what she feels and what she is willing to show. Pride tells her to wait. Pride convinces her that the one who moves first loses the game. Pride poisons her heart by saying, if he truly missed you, he would reach out first. Pride keeps her staring at her phone, hoping to see your name, but refusing to be the one who appears weak by breaking the silence. Ego then sharpens the blade. Ego does not whisper, it commands. Ego tells her, you must be wanted, not the one who begs. Ego convinces her that reaching out would not just be risky, it would be humiliating. In her mind, sending a simple text becomes a battle between wanting connection and maintaining her imagined status. Every second she stays silent is a second she feels both pain and twisted victory. Pain because the silence reminds her of what is lost. Victory because she has not surrendered her pride. This duality tortures her more than you can imagine. Some nights, she almost gives in. She almost sends that message. She almost chooses vulnerability. But at the last second, fear and pride crush the desire inside her, and she locks her heart back up again. And here's what matters. The longer you maintain your own silence, the heavier the burden becomes on her side of the battlefield. When you don't reach out, when you don't give in, when you don't chase her, you deny her the comfort she silently craves. She expects you to break first. She expects you to fold under the pressure of the unknown. When you don't, it shocks her. It destabilizes the story she tells herself to feel safe. If you reach out first, she breathes a sigh of relief. She wins without lifting a finger. She feels powerful because you showed weakness first. But if you stay silent, if you hold your position with discipline, the ground under her begins to crack. Doubt creeps in. Anxiety grows. And the memories of you, instead of fading, become sharper, more painful, more consuming. Silence becomes your greatest weapon because it forces her to sit with everything she tried to escape. It forces her to question herself, to wonder if letting you go was her biggest mistake. So, understand this. Her silence is not the sign of a woman who doesn't care. It's the sign of a woman too afraid to lose the image she tries to protect. A woman too stubborn to admit what she feels. A woman trapped between missing you and fearing you have outgrown her. 2. Why silence is her strategy. Silence is not a sign that she has forgotten you. It's not proof that she has moved on. Her silence is a calculated move, a move designed to keep the power in her hands. The moment she senses you might miss her, the moment she feels you are wondering about her, she knows she has the upper hand. And to keep that upper hand, she does not need to say a word. She only needs to stay silent. Silence creates questions. Silence creates doubt. Silence creates emotional instability inside the one who cares more. She knows that if she reaches out first, she risks losing control. If she sends that message, if she shows her hand, she risks being the one who appears desperate, the one who cares more. And in her world, that is a position she cannot afford to take. When she stays silent, she bets on your emotions breaking before hers. She bets that your mind will betray you, that you will start overthinking, that you will start wondering, that you will scroll through her old pictures, check her stories, hope for a sign. She bets that eventually, the silence will become so loud in your heart that you will act just to end it, that you will reach out just to silence the uncertainty. The moment you break, the moment you send even the smallest message, even a harmless, "Hey, hope you're doing well," you lose more than you realize. You kill the mystery. You remove the doubt from her mind. You answer every silent question she was battling with. You prove to her that you are still emotionally tied to her, that you are still affected, that you are still waiting. And when she realizes this, something changes. The grip she felt slipping starts to tighten again. The control she feared losing gets restored. She doesn't even have to reply enthusiastically. She can ignore your message. She can leave you on read. She can send a cold, detached response. It doesn't matter, because the power isn't in the reply. The power is in the confirmation that you still care enough to reach out first. You might think you are just being polite. You might tell yourself you are being mature, but in this emotional game, appearances don't matter. Intentions don't matter. Only moves matter. And reaching out is a move that reveals your position. It exposes your emotional vulnerability while she remains hidden. Silence is her strategy because it requires no effort. She doesn't need to call. She doesn't need to text. She doesn't need to explain. She simply waits, confident that most men cannot survive emotional silence. Confident that most men need answers more than they need their dignity. Confident that most men will eventually reach out, even if just to feel something again. Her silence is not strength. It is fear in disguise. It is pride wearing a mask. But it is effective, because the world rewards those who appear least invested. In a battle of emotions, the one who cares less holds the power. And silence creates the illusion of not caring, even when it's tearing her apart inside. If you reach out, you give her certainty. You end her questions. You give her emotional victory without her needing to risk anything. But if you stay silent, if you master your emotions and hold your ground, you force her to confront the emptiness she tried to ignore. You force her to live with the decision she made. You force her to question if she made a mistake. The silence that once gave her comfort becomes her enemy. The longer it stretches, the more it eats at her mind. At first, she tells herself you are just stubborn. Then she tells herself you are playing games. But as the days turn into weeks and weeks into months, the narrative shifts. Doubt starts whispering louder than pride. What if you have truly moved on? What if you no longer miss her? What if she has lost you forever? That is when her silence begins to break her, not protect her. That is when the emotional tables start to turn. 3. The illusion of moving on. You might see her smiling in photos, wearing that same familiar smile that once made your heart race. You might catch glimpses of her on a trip, posing with friends, sharing sunsets, dancing in clubs. You might see her reposting quotes about strength, independence, healing, moving forward. And it might punch you in the chest because it looks like she has already left you behind. It looks like she has found happiness without you, that maybe she never even cared as much as you thought. But you need to understand something most men never realize. People don't post their truth. People post the image they want the world to believe. Behind every smiling selfie could be a mind drowning in regret and a heart still aching for what it lost. Behind every post about strength could be nights spent crying into a pillow that still smells like the memories you shared. Behind every picture of a perfect life could be an empty feeling she tries to run from but can never really escape. She doesn't post because she's healed. She posts because she's hiding. Hiding from the loneliness that creeps in when the noise dies down. Hiding from the truth that without you, something feels missing, no matter how much she pretends otherwise. Every photo is a shield. Every caption is armor. Every story is a wall between the world and the war inside her chest. She isn't moving on as fast as it looks. She is trying to convince herself. She's fighting an invisible battle you will never see on Instagram. She's trying to fill a hole inside her with attention, distractions, validation. But nothing fills the space where real love once lived. When the party ends and the drinks wear off, when the friends go home and the room falls silent, that's when the mask slips. That's when the real emotions break through. Alone in her bed, scrolling through her phone, lying in the dark, she replays your conversations. She revisits the sound of your voice. She reimagines what it felt like to be cared for by a man who saw her soul, not just her body. And that pain hits harder than any heartbreak song she tries to drown it with. It screams louder than any quote she posts about strength. And if you, in your weakness, break your silence and text her first, you relieve that pressure for her. You let her off the hook. You give her a rush of validation that covers her pain, even if just for a little while. She doesn't have to feel the full consequences of losing you if you keep showing her that she still has access to you. But if you remain silent, if you hold your ground with the strength of a man who values himself more than he misses her, you allow the silence to do its work. You let it grow heavier. You let it dig deeper into her mind. Over time, that silence becomes unbearable. Not because you are trying to hurt her, but because she realizes she can't escape what she lost. No amount of likes, followers, adventures, or pretend smiles can touch the void you left behind. And it's only in that silence that true regret is born. Real regret isn't felt in crowded rooms. It's felt in the loneliness of her own mind when there's nothing left to distract her. The illusion of moving on is just that, an illusion. A carefully crafted show built for the world to see while she wrestles with invisible battles inside her own heart. And the longer you stay silent, the harder that illusion is to maintain. It starts to crack. First in small doubts, then in lingering thoughts, then in overwhelming waves of, what if I made the biggest mistake of my life? You must not react. You must not chase. You must not break. Because every day you don't reach out, every moment you don't check her story, every second you continue to build your own life without her, you become larger in her memory. You become the one she cannot replace, the one who slipped away, the one she thought would always be there until he wasn't. And no matter what her photos show, no matter what her captions say, no matter who she stands next to now, deep down, she will know. She lost a man who had the strength to let her go without begging, without chasing, without losing himself. That kind of man is unforgettable. That kind of man leaves a scar no replacement can heal. And that kind of man is exactly who you are becoming, if you stay silent and keep walking forward. 4. The moment you lose. You lose the very second you make the first move. The moment you send that simple text thinking it's harmless, you lose. The second you react to her Instagram story, hoping she notices, you lose. The second you comment on her post with something small, thinking maybe it will bring back a spark, you lose. You lose because in her mind, your action confirms one thing. She still controls your emotions. She still has a place in your heart. She still has you right where she wants you, wondering, hoping, waiting. That single message, that single like, feeds her ego like oxygen to a fire. It tells her without you even saying a word, you still matter more to me than I matter to myself. And once she knows this, she feels no need to miss you. She feels no urgency, no loss, no regret. Because why should she miss a man she can still reach emotionally anytime she wants? The truth is simple. Nothing is less attractive to a woman than a man who cannot master his own emotions. A man who reaches out first, even with the smallest gesture, shows that his feelings overpower his strength. He shows that he is led by fear, not by purpose. He shows that he needs her presence to feel stable, and women instinctively pull away from that. It makes you look weak, predictable, ordinary. And nothing kills attraction faster than predictability. Every message you send trying to remind her of the good times doesn't bring her closer. It makes you smaller in her eyes. It chips away at the image of the man she once admired. It reduces you from the rare, valuable prize you once were to just another man chasing something that already slipped away. Every attempt to bring her back only confirms why she left. Every move you make towards her only cements her belief that walking away was the right decision. Because strong men don't chase, they don't beg, they don't reach out to prove their worth. They stand still. They hold the line. They let their absence do the talking. If you want her to miss you, truly miss you, you must vanish. You must become a blank space in her mind that she cannot fill with distractions or noise. You must leave her with unanswered questions, with doubt, with the slow, creeping fear that maybe, just maybe, she lost something she will never find again. The only way to make her regret losing you is through complete, disciplined silence. Not fake silence. Not silence for a few days just to test her. True silence. A silence that isn't a tactic, but a way of life. A silence that says, I do not chase what walks away from me. I do not beg for what doesn't see my value. I choose myself over memories. That kind of silence doesn't just make her miss you. It forces her to see you in a way she never did before, as the man who could have had her but chose himself instead. If you break your silence, even once, you reset the clock. You throw away all the emotional leverage you built. You go back to being predictable, expected, ordinary. But if you stay silent, if you hold your emotions like a king holds his crown, untouchable and steady, you become unforgettable. You become the one that slipped through her fingers. You become the story she tells herself when the world goes quiet. The man who didn't chase, the man who didn't beg, the man she wishes she could reach, but can't. Silence is your power. Discipline is your weapon. And emotional control is your victory. The power of emotional control. Powerful men are not powerful because they talk the most, shout the loudest, or chase the hardest. They are powerful because they move with restraint. They hold themselves steady when others panic. They do not act on every impulse. They do not allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent actions. They know their value is not measured by who accepts them or who rejects them. They know their worth is already complete without external validation. Emotional control is not just a skill, it is a shield. It is what separates the weak from the strong, the ordinary from the exceptional. It is what turns a man from forgettable to unforgettable. When you can sit in the silence, when you can feel the urge to reach out and still not move, when you can feel the storm of missing her, remembering her, craving her, and yet you stay still. That is true power. That is when you stop being a memory she can control and start becoming a mystery she cannot replace. You stop being the man who waits by the phone and start being the man who is out of her reach. You become unpredictable. You become rare. You become the man who haunts her mind. Not because you are chasing her, but because you are nowhere to be found. Women do not miss the men who are always available. They do not lie awake at night wondering about the men who constantly remind them they are still there. They miss the men who disappear into their own greatness. They miss the men who hold their own frame, who build their own kingdom, who do not let memories of the past chain them down. The men who are rare, who are disciplined, who value themselves above momentary emotions. Those are the men women regret losing. Every time you feel the itch to text her, every time you pick up your phone thinking maybe, just maybe, this time she'll appreciate it, stop. Remember that every second you resist that temptation, every second you choose silence over chasing, you build doubt in her mind. You create questions that have no answers. You create tension she cannot resolve. You plant seeds of regret that grow larger with every passing day. While you stay silent, she starts to wonder. Did he move on? Did he replace me? Did he realize he deserves better? The longer you hold your emotional ground, the more powerful you become. Not just in her mind, but in your own life. Because emotional control doesn't just win back power in a relationship. It builds power everywhere. It sharpens your mind. It strengthens your spirit. It makes you a man no woman can easily forget. No world can easily defeat. Master your emotions, and you master the battlefield. Master your emotions, and you master your destiny. 6. Your new mindset. Your new mindset starts with a decision so powerful that once you make it, there's no going back. You are no longer a man who chases shadows. You are no longer a man who waits by the phone, wondering if she will ever realize what she lost. You are no longer a man trapped in the memories of what was, chained to a version of yourself that needed her approval to feel alive. That man is gone. You have buried him. You have chosen to rise. From today, you build a life where you are the center of gravity, not her. You build a life so full, so rich, so powerful, that her absence feels like nothing more than a ripple on the surface of an ocean she can never cross again. You no longer see her silence as rejection. You see it as redirection. Every second you do not hear from her is a second you invest into yourself, into your mind, into your body, into your mission, into the empire you were meant to build. You are not here to chase someone who is willing to walk away. You are here to create a life so extraordinary that people regret losing access to you. Women do not complete you. No one completes you. You were already whole before she entered your life, and you are even stronger now that she is gone. Her walking away did not break you. It broke the illusions you once lived under. It shattered the false belief that you needed someone else to validate your worth. The truth is, you lose nothing by her leaving. You lose everything if you lose yourself trying to get her back. You lose everything if you become the man who sacrifices his dignity, his pride, and his peace just to be chosen by someone who once doubted him. That is not who you are anymore. That is not the man who will win in this life. The world is full of opportunities, full of new dreams, new victories, new people who will see you for who you are without you having to explain it, beg for it, or chase it. But those opportunities only reveal themselves to men who walk forward with conviction, not to those who stand frozen, staring backward, wishing they could rewind time. Life rewards motion. Life rewards resilience. Life rewards men who choose their future over their past. Today, you are done being a ghost chaser. You are done giving your energy to what was. You are done waiting for her to realize your value, because you realize it first. You become the man she will regret losing. Not by words, not by desperate actions, but by the way you vanish into a life she can no longer reach. A life she can only watch from a distance. A life so abundant, so powerful, that the version of you she once knew feels like a dream she can never touch again. You do not chase. You do not wait. You do not beg. You build. You rise. You become. And when she thinks of you, because she will, it will not be with comfort. It will be with a burning ache she cannot soothe, knowing she lost a man who became unstoppable without her. This journey is about taking back what was always yours, your power, your pride, your peace. Every time you resist reaching out, you become stronger. Every moment you stay silent, you climb higher. Every step you take forward without looking back, you reclaim your life. She had her chance. Now you are building something greater. Not for her, but for yourself. If you found value here, if you believe every man deserves to hear this message, support this channel. Subscribe, like, and comment. By doing so, you are helping us reach thousands of men who are silently hurting right now. Men who need this strength. Together, we are building a brotherhood of unstoppable men who lead their own lives.